Hey everyone, this is Emmanuel. This is episode 6 of my emotion code journey. And I just want to welcome you to our YouTube channel. And for those of you who have been watching consecutively, I really appreciate you. And basically, long story short, what is the emotion code? I always share what it is real quick. The emotion code is a practice created by Dr. Bradley Nelson in order to use muscle testing to be able to find out what trapped emotions you have. What's a trapped emotion? It's something that you developed either due to trauma or due to overwhelming moment in your life where a trapped emotion could look like the size of a ball or a cantaloupe is basically stuck in your body, and through energy healing you can actually release it from you. And a lot of people don't know what they don't know. So people don't know that it exists and it's lodged in there, and all we really see is symptoms later on, or for some reason you're not having success that you want, or for some reason you're not getting the love that you want. You're doing everything right, but for some reason something is blocking you, probably because you have a trapped emotion. And Dr. Bradley Nelson, his theory is that everyone has a trapped emotion. And the cool thing is you don't have to believe him. You can just believe your subconscious brain using muscle testing. So I was just talking to someone yesterday, and I'm like, I know this sounds kind of far-fetched, doesn't it, to find out that you have trapped emotions. And I said, but what if I was testing your body, and your body was letting me know whether your arm can be held strong or it goes weak, and then it's telling me yes or no answers to your subconscious brain. There's not much rebuttal to that because it's your body, and it's your body telling me something. And we'll be able to find out things about you that I would never even know unless your subconscious brain told me. So with that, I'm actually, the difference between my videos and other people's videos is I'm actually doing the journey of me getting certified as an emotion body code practitioner. Other people, they wait till the end and then they start teaching things. I want to do something different. I want you guys to come with me on a journey, whether you're looking into the emotion code as a treatment, or you're looking as a practitioner and you're just wanting to know kind of like, what is it like, And so I'm going to be very transparent. I'm going to be very raw. I'm going to tell you guys how it is. I'm not going to be fluffy about it. I'm just going to tell you exactly what I'm going through, and I'm going to also tell you things that I'm learning. Now, this episode is a very rare episode because I usually mention two things about the emotion code, and then I mention kind of a self-development tip. The reason why is because I believe we should grow in all different areas. I'm actually creating an audio called Sacred Morning, which talks about how life and peace for me has been about balance, and you can't just read self-development and be in an industry, because then you'll be a motivated idiot. Excuse my French, but a motivated idiot. You have to have self-development. You have to have spirituality. You have to have exercise. You have to have family time. And that's what we all struggle for. We all struggle for a balance of life. So that's why I don't want to go head first into the emotion code. I want to continue my self-development and be learning to grow myself in character as I continue the emotion code process. So with that, I'll be doing these episodes 5 times a week. So here is the first tip, and it's actually 3 different things, but it's more on a spiritual realm. I don't really like to talk about spirituality unless it's Sunday, and then I do share sort of a Sunday message on Periscope, so you can find me on Periscope. And on Sunday, I do it just because of my own spiritual self. I'm just reflecting things, and I'm a Christian, so I'm just thinking about how I can improve myself following the Savior, things like that. But for some reason, I'm going to break pattern, and today I'm talking about something that most people, maybe they have some confusion about, which is why God doesn't answer my prayers. Okay, so this really doesn't have to do anything with the emotion code, but it's actually part of my journey, because I gave a blessing to my daughter yesterday, and I realized, I was like, I just feel like I need to talk about this. And so I'm going to break pattern, and I'm just going to just talk about this. And I know there's someone out there that needs to hear this message, and I did it for you, okay? Because usually I would just do an emotion code tip, but for some reason I just felt very prompted that the next morning to talk about why God doesn't answer prayers. And then you might say, well, he always answers prayers. Well, I'm going to clarify. So the first thing is this. So I want you guys to write 3 things. 1 is identity. Number 2 is action. And then story. So the reason is I'm going to do it in that order here. So identity. First of all, one of my favorite quotes I've ever read is Christ did not have an identity crisis. Christ knew who he was, before he was born, who he was when he was living, and where he went, or who he was when he left. And when you're that liberated, then you can serve. I'll say that again. Christ did not have an identity crisis. He knew who he was before. He knew who he was when he was living here, and he knew where he was going. And when you're that liberated, then you could serve. I have this strong belief that the way we act in this world and the way we get things from this earth has a lot to do with who we believe we are. So if you see someone super successful in the front of a convention, he has a completely different belief of who he is than the person all the way in the back in the nosebleed section. The person who is having a very spiritual life with their family and getting closer to God and the Creator has a completely different belief on how much he believes he is a literal son or daughter of God. I really believe it has to do with belief. And so, how do you get belief? And you could be a Christian, you could be a Buddhist, you could be Hindu. I have respect for all faiths. Very key. If you are a spiritual person, you must have tolerance. If you don't have tolerance, you are not spiritual in any sense at all. Because you have to understand that everyone is a God in training. Everyone is progressing to be like their Father in heaven. And so you need to let people be the way they are and respect their spiritual journey. So that's a whole other seminar there. But I do want to talk about identity. So how do you know about your identity? Well, whatever religion you are, research it, practice it, and teach it. That's it. Research, practice, teach. A lot of people research and teach, but you become a false teacher. So you want to research, practice, and teach. I learned that from Jim Rohn. So, and then little by little, the more you do that, you start learning more about your identity, and then you learn more about God. And then it kind of goes like a great circle, not a vicious circle, but a great circle. So there's that. So identity is kind of like, and the more you realize who you are and you're practicing your faith, the more you stop asking yourself, why am I not getting this answer? Why am I not? Because you're probably realizing that you have to go through a process. Just like everyone who's ever been spiritual or any spiritual leader you believe in, they usually went through a process. Not everything was hunky-dory. Just because you believe in a higher power doesn't mean you're not going to suffer. So, and suffering, and I like this Napoleon Hill quote, in every adversity, there is an equal or greater benefit. And I think all your spiritual mentors that I've ever taught you, they somehow believe that. They believe that in every adversity, any problem they had, there was a door that opened. And every door that closed on them, there was another door that was open. And because they did that, now you're admiring them for their spiritual growth. They just really believe one thing is that if you read the scriptures or you read any spiritual book, there's a lot of problems and there's a lot of solutions. And so don't ever ask, God, this is my problem, because because you're looking up, you're not looking straight or to the right or to the left of all these different solutions you have. So number one is if you really want to progress this year, get to know thyself. If you haven't been that spiritual and you've been trying to look into Hinduism or whatever, get into it, learn it, practice it, preach it. All right, so that's number one. Number two is action. A lot of people wait. I'm going to wait for God's prayer and then I'm going to take action. The reality is, and what I've noticed for myself, is that you need to go and propose an answer. We're free agents here on this earth. So if you pray, you say, you know what, I've been praying about it, pondering it, and there's a sweet little voice that comes inside of you that says, I think this is the right way, and you'll feel good about it. You'll have peace in the thought. Then you might feel like, well, I feel peace and I feel good feelings about this, but I didn't receive an angel didn't come down, or God didn't show me the sign that says go for it, And that's what's holding people back. And so the reality is, what you want to do is you want to take action. Take action, move forward, and then you'll get a confirmation later on, whether it's in a dream, whether it's a whisper, whether it's something, whether it's you're feeling even better than you felt before, that you're going in the right direction. You got to pay attention to how you feel. Sometimes the greatest communication that God gives us is silence, and we tend to be too loud, too obnoxiously loud, screaming at the heavens, when because we're screaming, we don't hear that quiet voice. Okay, so that's number two, is take action. Don't wait. You probably already received an answer. You felt good about an answer. You felt you had to ponder it in your mind, think about it, and then make a decision as a son or daughter of God, and then move forward. And then after that, look for the promptings that you're in the right direction. Otherwise, if you take that decision and you start feeling negative and there's all these different things that are kind of like, no, this isn't the right way, this isn't the right way, listen to those as well. So the last thing is a story. So there's a gentleman named Michael Wilcox, and he shares a story about how he didn't have a great relationship with his father. So he didn't have a great relationship with his father his whole life, and he was asked really at a young age, because he was talking to some leaders of his church, like, hey, you know what, I have this problem, I want to get over my father, and I want to forgive him. And then they said, why don't you forgive him? He's like, I'll try. So he prayed about it, and for some reason, he just couldn't get to it. He couldn't do it. Something was wrong with him forgiving his father, and he felt bad about it. He was like, you know, what do I do? I need to get, like, what if God can help me to forgive him? Let's try that prayer. Okay, praying, it didn't work. So he's like, God's quiet. He's silent. But I testify to you, whoever you are, that God did answer him and said, I'm giving you the answer. You just have to wait. I'm giving you the answer. But you're not going to appreciate it if you don't wait for it. So that's his answer. Wait for it. That is an answer. You guys know that, right? He didn't stay quiet. And it's not that he didn't listen. He heard it. But he's just saying, you're not going to, if I give you the answer now, you wouldn't appreciate it. This is what happened. So later on, he had children, 4 kids, and they were all playing around, and, you know, he's enjoying his life. He's enjoying his life with his kids. And, you know, that takes time to enjoy life with kids, because they have to grow up. You have to experience things, right? Later on, he's speaking to all these college students, and someone asks him, says, hey, can you speak about who was your role model? Can you do that? And his first thought was, my mother. I'm going to talk about my mother. And then all of a sudden, this quiet voice came to him and said, talk about your father. And he said, no, there's no way I'm going to talk about my father. I can easily write an essay and speak to a bunch of people about my mother, no doubt. Then all of a sudden, it said, talk about your father. And he said, I can't. What has he done for me? He hasn't even been there for me. Made no sense, right? Would we listen to that voice? We'd probably ignore it. Listen, talk about my father. Come on. I can't even get him on a phone call. So, and we all have toxic relationships. So if it's not your father, it's somebody else, right? So then here's what happens. All the kids are around him one day. He's playing around with them, and I think he's like doing their hair in the bathroom, whatever. And then all of a sudden, this vision comes in, and he basically sees all the beautiful moments he had with his kids. It just starts, you know, like flashback after flashback after flashback. And he's just dropping tears, you know, just tears are coming down because of joy. They're joy, right? And then he says, I can finally forgive my father. He really missed out on all the beautiful moments. Look at all the beautiful moments I have with my children, and he'll never experience that. And he felt bad for him. And guess what happened after that? He forgave him. He just felt bad for him. He's like, I feel bad for you. Like, you didn't experience what I experienced with my kids, and I feel sorry for you, and I feel bad for you, and I forgive you, you know? And he was crying, and his wife, you know, hugged him, and he says, I can finally forgive my... But here's the thing. Could he experience that forgiveness if he didn't experience the deja vus and the flashbacks of his kids? The answer is no. So, does God answer prayers? The answer actually is a trick question. Yes, he does answer prayers, but just not in your time. Just not in your time. So he's putting a little pocket in your heart, so that way, in the pocket, you want to write this down, is experience. You have to experience certain things for you to appreciate the answer he's going to give you. The pocket for him was he needs to have children and become a father of 4. Then he'll understand that his father officially missed out because he was a father that didn't miss out. Does that make sense? So one of the reasons why your heavenly father hasn't given you an answer yet is because you don't have a pocket in your heart. If he gives you the answer, it'll slide off your heart. But if you have this pocket which has experience and you go through some things, then he'll find the perfect time to answer it. So with that, I just wanted to share with you that spiritual message. I don't typically share a spiritual message on the emotion code journey, but because of some special spiritual experiences yesterday, and this is actually part of my journey, I might have to disrupt things a little bit and just kind of share something with you that I feel inspired to share about. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and whatever faith you are, just know I fully respect you, and you can relate this to Allah, whoever you want to relate to, but hopefully this added value to you, and hopefully you gained something from this. That's all I want to do, is add value back to you. So with that, you can subscribe below if you want videos like this Monday through Friday. I'm going to be sharing my emotion code journey. So as I become a practitioner, I'm going to take you along with me, and I'm going to go through some disruptions in my life. I'm going to go through some chaos, some drama, some good things, some bad things, and I'm going to share it with you guys, so that way you guys know that I'm just a regular guy. I'm just trying to help other people. I'm trying to become a health practitioner in the emotion code, and I want to share a journey with you guys. So I always, if you want to follow me on Periscope, I'm doing it at 8:30 in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. Just look up Emmanuel Zavaios. I'll leave all the information below. And I always end like this. I always say the world has a false notion that I'll take care of you, you take care of me. But we all know here on my Emotion Code Journey YouTube channel that if I take care of myself, I can authentically take care of others. And as we take care of ourselves, we can change our home, we can change our city, we can change our country, and eventually we can change the world. So with that, this is Emmanuel Zavaios signing off. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Bye-bye.